This one simple tip will change the way you aim in Marvel Rivals forever. For those of you that don't know, the majority of characters in Marvel Rivals have the exact same walk speed. So if you strafe once you get on target, it is very easy to land your shots. A lot of new players try to aim primarily with their right hand, and it can be very difficult to do that, especially on MnK since you have no aim assist. And even on controller using just your right thumb, it can be very difficult to track someone who's not even moving very fast. So rather than trying to track somebody primarily with your right hand and staying planted, try using your strafe once you are on target. You want to use your right hand or your right thumbstick to get yourself as close to on target as possible, and then use your strafe to stay on target. If done correctly, it should look something like this. Notice that once I get on target, it's actually very easy to stay on the enemy's head. There are a few characters in the game that have a faster run speed, such as Mantis and Luna, so it's a little bit different for them, and you will have to track them a little bit more precisely with your right hand. However, the majority of the characters in the cast do have the exact same run speed, or it's very, very negligible. So the micro spacing that you have to do with your right hand is very simple to actually stay on target. So what you want to try and do is mimic your enemy's movement to the best of your ability when fighting. If they switch directions, you want to try and switch directions with them and keep yourself on target rather than standing in one position and using only your right hand to try and track them. As you can see, as I'm going back and forth here, as this bot is switching directions, I try my best to switch directions with them, and then I readjust with my right hand to stay on target. It can be very easy to get overly erratic with your aim, especially if you're just trying to stay alive. If you start jumping around and going crazy and trying to track all over the place and make sure that the enemy is missing, you can make the fight last way longer than it has to, simply because you're making yourself miss. So rather than trying to always track your enemy with your right hand, try using your strafe to stay on target. And if done correctly, it should look like this. This can also be a very good tip when used at range as well. If your enemy is jumping all over the place and you're trying to track them, it can be very difficult to use your right hand, especially if they are a faster character like Mantis. So rather than trying to track their movement with only your right hand, what you can do instead is try to center to the best of your ability and then strafe back and forth to do your micro movements. I'll also say another huge tip is to try your best to not be jumping and moving at range to try and land your shots. In a lot of situations, this is very unnecessary to do. It's much more effective to just get on target and then strafe back and forth.